Welcome to your deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
This time, we're taking a look at inner freedom coaching.
Oh, very cool.
You've given us a whole stack of materials about it,
Right.
including what seems to be a training playbook for coaches.
Uh-huh.
It's got me wondering if I have any hidden superpowers lurking under the surface.
Oh, that's what we're going to try to find out.
Okay, so skimming through this, it seems for this here. Inner freedom coaching is about more than just achieving dreams.
Yes.
It's about recognizing how our past experiences can hold us back.
Absolutely.
There's this idea of a preservation zone,
Right.
which I'm guessing is like a fancy term for our comfort zone.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The playbook uses this metaphor of a treasure map.
Hmm.
It suggests that those fears that keep us stuck in our preservation zone can actually lead us back to our superpowers.
Okay.
Those unique abilities we might have forgotten or pushed down.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But how do fears lead to superpowers? That seems counterintuitive.
It's all about understanding how those fears developed in the first place.
Okay.
The playbook argues that our modern world, with its emphasis on control and conformity, think schools, jobs,
Right.
even families,
Mm-hmm.
can actually stifle our natural creativity and individuality.
Right.
We learn to adapt to survive in these systems.
Yeah.
But it can come at the cost of suppressing those unique qualities that make us, well, us.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We're all told to fit in,
Right.
follow the rules.
Yeah.
But what if those rules are actually holding us back from being our true selves?
Right.
So how does inner freedom coaching help people break free from that?
That's where the 9-step inner freedom method comes in.
Okay.
It's a process these coaches use to guide people out of those limiting patterns. We won't go through all 9 steps here,
Okay.
but a key part of it is identifying a specific situation where you feel stuck or afraid.
Yeah.
They call it a pivotal moment. Then you use your imagination to replay that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the twist.
Okay. I'm listening.
You focus on the physical sensations you felt during that moment.
Okay.
The playbook claims this can actually trigger vivid memories, which they call memory pops.
Okay.
These memories often reveal the origins of those fears and limiting beliefs.
Right.
And they can be surprisingly powerful.
Hold on. So just by tuning into, say, a knot in my stomach,
Right.
I could unlock a memory that explains why I have a fear of public speaking today.
You got it.
That's wild.
Exactly.
So the author, Dave Buck,
Dave Buck, yeah.
gives this example of his own fear of networking.
Right.
Through this method, he realized it stemmed from a memory of being 4 years old,
Oh, wow.
running up to talk to a stranger,
Yeah.
and his mom freaking out.
Uh-huh.
The intense emotional energy of that experience stayed with him.
Right.
Wow, that's like emotional archaeology.
That's a great way to put it.
Unearthing these hidden memories to understand our present-day behaviors.
Exactly.
So once you've had a memory pop,
yeah.
what do you do with it?
That's where the real transformation begins.
Okay.
Instead of seeing those old fears and limiting beliefs as self-sabotage,
Right.
you start to understand how they once served you.
Uh-huh.
Like in Dave's case as a child, his eagerness to connect with others got a negative reaction,
Yeah,
so he learned to hold back.
I see.
But as an adult, that same quality could be a strength.
So it's about reframing those old patterns.
Yes.
Seeing them not as flaws, but as potential strengths that just need to be channeled differently.
Exactly.
And that's where the superpowers come in.
Right.
The things we fear most are often connected to our greatest strength.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
things that make us unique.
Absolutely.
So fear isn't the enemy.
No.
It's more like a compass pointing us towards our potential.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Good.
But is this all just solo work?
That's a great question.
Or is there a social aspect to it as well?
There is, and it leads us to another key concept in the playbook.
Okay.
Dream teams.
Hmm.
Inner freedom coaching emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who support your growth
Right.
and encourage you to play big,
Yeah.
to step outside your comfort zone.
So it's not just about inner work.
Right.
It's about creating an outer world that reflects and supports that transformation.
Absolutely.
What else does the playbook say about building these dream teams?
It emphasizes the importance of having people in your life who believe in you, who encourage you to take risks, and who celebrate your wins. It's like having a personalized cheering section for your personal growth journey.
That sounds amazing. I'm already thinking of who I'd put on my dream team, but before we get carried away building our own dream teams,
Right.
I'm curious about the 9-step method. You mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
but we haven't really dug into it yet.
Okay.
Can you give us a bit more detail about how it works?
Absolutely. Remember, it all starts with identifying that pivotal moment, the specific situation where you feel stuck.
Mm-hmm.
From there, the steps involve things like exploring the physical sensations
Okay.
associated with that moment, allowing those sensations to trigger memories, and then reframing those memories through a new lens.
So it's not just about remembering the past.
Yeah.
It's about actively changing how we perceive and interpret those memories.
Exactly. There are also steps that involve identifying what you learned from that experience,
Yeah.
how it might be holding you back today, and then visualizing how you would handle that situation differently now with your newfound awareness.
That sounds incredibly empowering. So it's like we're taking back control of our story,
Yeah.
rewriting the narrative of our past to create a more positive and fulfilling future.
That's a great way to put it. It's about recognizing that we are not defined by our past experiences. We have the power to choose how those experiences shape us moving forward.
This all sounds fantastic in theory, but I'm a show me, don't tell me kind of person. Are there any real-world examples of how this method has helped people overcome challenges and achieve their dreams?
Oh, absolutely. The Playbook is full of inspiring stories. For example, there's a woman named Sarah who struggled with a crippling fear of public speaking.
Okay.
This fear prevented her from sharing her ideas at work and pursuing her dream of becoming a teacher.
That's something so many people can relate to. Public speaking can be terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
What was the root of Sarah's fear?
Well, using the inner freedom method, Sarah discovered that her fear stemmed from a childhood experience where she was harshly criticized
Oh, no.
for stumbling over her lines during a school play.
Wow.
That experience created a deep-seated belief that she wasn't good at public speaking,
Right.
and that people would judge her if she made a mistake.
Wow. So one negative experience in childhood can have a ripple effect throughout our lives.
Unfortunately, it can.
How did inner freedom coaching help Sarah overcome this fear?
Through the 9-step process, Sarah was able to revisit that pivotal moment, release the emotional charge associated with it.
Okay. And reframe the experience. She realized that the criticism she received as a child was more about the expectations of others than her own abilities.
So it was about separating her own self-worth from the opinions of others.
Exactly. And as she worked through the process,
Yeah.
Sarah also began to tap into her superpower. Remember how we talked about fears often being linked to our strength?
Yes, I remember. So what was Sarah's superpower?
Well, in Sarah's case, her fear of public speaking was actually connected to a deep passion for connecting with others and sharing knowledge.
Wow.
As she released her fear, this passion started to shine through.
So her fear was actually a signpost pointing her towards her true calling.
You got it.
That's incredible. What happened next?
Sarah decided to take a public speaking course and even joined a Toastmasters group to practice her skills in a supportive environment.
That's fantastic. So she went from avoiding public speaking at all costs
Yeah,
to actively seeking opportunities to speak and share her voice.
exactly. And the results were transformative.
Sarah gained confidence, landed her dream job as a teacher, and even started giving presentations at conferences.
That's amazing.
She completely turned her fear into her biggest asset.
That's so inspiring. It shows how inner freedom coaching can not only help us overcome challenges,
Right.
but also unlock our full potential.
Yeah.
Do you have any other examples that highlight the versatility of this method?
Absolutely. The Playbook also features the story of a man named Michael who was struggling with procrastination.
Okay.
He had big dreams for his career, but he kept putting things off, feeling overwhelmed and stuck.
Procrastination is something I think we can all relate to. It can be so frustrating.
Oh, tell me about it.
What was the root of Michael's procrastination?
Well, using the inner freedom method, Michael uncovered a pivotal moment from his childhood. He remembered feeling disappointed when his father, who was a very busy executive, repeatedly broke promises to spend time with him.
That's heartbreaking. It sounds like he learned to protect himself from disappointment
Yeah.
by not expecting too much even from himself.
You got it. And that pattern carried over into his adult life.
Right.
He was afraid to fully commit to his goals because he didn't want to risk feeling that same disappointment again.
So his procrastination wasn't about laziness.
No.
It was about protecting himself from emotional pain. How did inner freedom coaching help him break free from this pattern?
By revisiting that pivotal moment and allowing himself to feel those emotions of disappointment and sadness,
Yeah.
Michael was able to release the energy of that experience and start to heal those old wounds.
So it was about acknowledging and processing those suppressed emotions rather than letting them control his behavior.
Exactly. And as he worked through the 9 steps,
Okay.
Michael also started to identify his superpower. Remember, those things we fear often point us towards our strengths.
Yes, I'm eager to hear what his superpower was.
Well, in Michael's case, his fear of disappointment was linked to a deep desire for connection and a longing to make a meaningful impact on the world.
Wow.
As he released that fear, his passion and drive started to reemerge.
That's so powerful. So by confronting his fear, he was able to tap into his true purpose. What did he do next?
He started by setting small, achievable goals for himself
Oh,
and gradually built up his confidence.
good.
He also used the dream team concept to create a supportive network of friends and colleagues who encouraged him and held him accountable.
So it was a combination of inner work, practical strategies, and social support that helped him overcome his procrastination.
Exactly. And the results were remarkable. Michael started taking action towards his goals, completed a challenging project at work,
That's great.
and even started his own side business. He transformed his fear of disappointment into a driving force for success.
These stories are so inspiring. They really show how the inner freedom method can be applied to a wide range of challenges and help people achieve incredible transformations. But before we move on, I'm curious, you mentioned that one of the steps in the process involves identifying what you learned from a particular experience.
Right.
Can you give us an example of what that might look like?
Of course, let's go back to Sarah, the woman who overcame her fear of public speaking. Remember how her pivotal moment involved being criticized during a school play?
Yes. I remember she felt judged and inadequate.
Right. Well, as Sarah explored that experience through the inner freedom method, she realized that she had learned to associate public speaking with danger and rejection.
Wow.
She had learned to believe that her voice didn't matter
Right.
and that it was safer to stay silent.
So the experience taught her to suppress her voice, to play it safe, and that lesson,
Yeah.
while understandable in the context of a child trying to navigate a challenging situation, became a limiting belief that held her back as an adult.
Exactly, and that's a key point. These lessons we learn in childhood often serve us well in the moment, helping us to survive and adapt.
Right.
But as we grow and evolve,
Yeah.
those same lessons can become outdated and even harmful.
That's such an important insight. So it's not about blaming ourselves or our past experiences. It's about recognizing how those experiences shaped us and then choosing to rewrite those old scripts that no longer serve us.
Absolutely. And that's where the power of reframing comes in once Sarah identified the lesson she had learned, that public speaking was dangerous.
Right.
She was able to challenge that belief and create a new, more empowering narrative.
So she replaced the old story of public speaking is dangerous
Yeah.
with a new story of my voice matters and I have something valuable to share.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective made all the difference. It allowed her to step into her power and embrace the challenge of public speaking.
This is all starting to make so much sense. It's like we're all carrying around these invisible scripts from our past, dictating our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and possess. Inner freedom coaching gives us the tools to rewrite those scripts and create a more fulfilling and authentic life.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's about reclaiming our inner freedom, not just from external constraints, but also from the limiting beliefs and patterns that hold us back from living a life of purpose and joy.
This has been such an illuminating conversation about the inner freedom method. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to circle back to the concept of dream teams. You mentioned earlier that they play a key role in supporting personal growth.
Right.
Can you elaborate on what makes these teams so effective?
Of course, dream teams are essentially groups of people who come together to support each other's growth and aspirations.
Okay.
They provide a space for vulnerability, encouragement, and accountability.
So it's more than just a casual group of friends. There's a real intention behind these teams.
Exactly. Members of a dream team are actively invested in each other's success. They celebrate each other's wins,
Right.
offer support during challenges, and provide honest feedback to help each other stay on track.
That sounds incredibly powerful. But how do these teams differ from regular support groups or therapy groups?
While there can be some overlap, dream teams are typically more focused on specific goals and aspirations. They're designed to help individuals achieve breakthroughs and make tangible progress towards their dreams.
So it's about providing practical support and guidance as well as emotional support.
Exactly. And another key difference is that dream teams are often made up of people from diverse backgrounds and experiences.
Okay.
This diversity of perspectives can be incredibly valuable,
Right.
as it challenges members to think outside their comfort zones and consider new ways of approaching their goals.
So it's not just an echo chamber where everyone agrees with each other. It's a space for constructive dialogue and creative brainstorming. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
But how do you actually go about building a dream team? Where do you find these amazing people?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll explore in more detail in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay. I can't wait to hear more about that. This conversation has been so insightful, and I'm already feeling inspired to start assembling my own dream team.
All right, we're back and ready to dive into the nitty-gritty of building these dream teams.
Okay.
I'm already picturing a montage with inspiring music.
Yeah.
But I suspect it's a bit more nuanced than that.
You're right. It's not as simple as snapping your fingers and poof.
Okay.
But it's also not rocket science.
Yeah.
The playbook gives some great advice on how to go about it.
Okay. So no magic wands.
Right.
What's the first step?
Right.
Do I just start handing out applications?
Hold your horses.
Okay.
The playbook emphasizes that it all starts with you.
Okay.
You need to get crystal clear on your own values, goals, and what kind of support you're actually looking for.
So it's like figuring out the blueprint for your dream house before you start interviewing contractors.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What happens after you've done that soul searching?
Then it's about looking for people who not only align with your values,
but who also embody the qualities of a supportive teammate.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Do they inspire you?
Hmm.
Are they good listeners?
Okay.
Do they challenge you in a constructive way?
So basically, people you admire and who bring out the best in you.
Exactly.
But where do you actually find these people?
That's where it gets fun.
Okay.
The playbook encourages you to think outside the box. Look beyond your usual circles.
Okay.
Join groups or classes related to your interests.
Uh-huh.
Volunteer for a cause you're passionate about.
Right.
Attend conferences or workshops. Even online communities can be a great starting point.
So it's about expanding your horizons and putting yourself out there.
Exactly.
But I imagine not everyone you meet will be dream team material, right?
Definitely, not building a dream team is an ongoing process.
Okay.
It's about nurturing relationships with people who genuinely support your growth. It's not about collecting a massive network,
Okay.
but rather cultivating meaningful connections with those who truly resonate with you.
It sounds like it takes time,
It does.
effort, and discernment.
Yeah.
What are some red flags to watch out for?
Okay.
How do you know if someone is not dream team material?
That's a great question. Watch out for people who are constantly negative, who drain your energy,
Okay.
or who try to hold you back.
Right.
Also, be wary of those who are only interested in what they can get from you. Rather than supporting your growth, a true dream team member is invested in your success,
Okay.
celebrates your wins, and offers constructive feedback even when it's tough to hear.
That makes sense. So it's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up and empower you, not those who bring you down or try to control you. It seems this dream team concept has applications beyond just personal growth.
It does.
Couldn't you apply this to building a team at work or even within your family?
Absolutely. The principles are universal. Think about it. What if every workplace had a culture of mutual support and encouragement?
Right.
What if families intentionally created spaces for open communication and shared dreams? The possibilities are endless.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This deep dive has really shifted my perspective on everything from fear to support systems.
I'm glad to hear that.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else in the playbook that surprised you or anything you think our listeners should know?
You know what struck me was the emphasis on playfulness throughout the entire process. It's easy to get so serious about personal growth,
Right.
but the playbook reminds us to lighten up, have fun, and even approach our fears with a sense of curiosity.
That's so important. It's like giving ourselves permission to enjoy the journey,
Right.
not just focus on the destination. This whole conversation has been so inspiring, and I'm walking away with a whole new toolkit for personal growth.
That's great.
So if anyone out there is feeling inspired to start their own inner freedom journey, I highly recommend checking out the resources you provided. Who knows, maybe we'll all be rocking our superpowers soon.
That's the spirit. Remember, the world needs your unique gifts. Don't be afraid to shine.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into inner freedom coaching. Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.